Alright, you've got a busy day ahead. We have to interview Mr. David Hilbert for the position of Program Director at ISM.
ISM really needs someone who has the vision and can integrate science and maths both. After the discovery of the Lazarus Pit by Dr. Naimani Jamani, the newly resurrected David Hilbert really seems like a perfect fit for it.
Alright, shall you argument?
Sure. Dr. Hilbert, please come in.
Guten Tag. Guten Tag.
Welcome, Mr. Hilbert. We are so happy to have you here today. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing well, and it's a pleasure to be here.
We're really looking forward for this discussion. So before we start to dive into your scientific contributions, I'd love to hear what drew you to this position as the Program Director of ISM.
So while I was looking at different universities to become a program director, Habib really stood out for me because of its culture and research. And I am a research person from my core. I have researched many mathematical foundations and built many theories in mathematics, so I feel like I would do well at Habib. One thing that I really saw that was a bit lacking at Habib was its mathematical foundation. A student just takes a couple of math courses which are not even, and they don't get that sense of the philosophy in mathematics that I really resonated, along with many of my other colleagues resonated with. So I would like to bridge that gap. And just how interdisciplinary the community of Habib is, how many just professors there are, and the students as well, the courses that they take, it's not just sciences, but it's more liberal as well, which I kind of like. So yeah, that's why I chose Habib. And here's my resume.
That's exactly what we're aiming for at ISM.
Speaking of which, Mr. Hilbert, your contribution in mathematics has been really inspiring. Could you briefly explain the key areas of your work and research, and what has been the primary focus over the years?
My work is largely focused on formalizing mathematics and understanding the foundation of mathematics itself. I had a long dream of finding a set of axioms that made mathematics complete. That basically you can take any proof and you can take any statement and you can say that, okay, this is a true statement or this is a false statement. I also made Hilbert's program, which consisted of many of my fellow mathematicians who were raised by my Sigma mathematics. Lastly, I introduced many of my favorite problems to the world, which are known as my Hilbert's problems, my 23 Hilbert's problems, which at the time when I introduced them, they were all unsolved. And some took a few weeks, some took a few months, even years, and some are even unsolved by today. As per your generation, I googled a few of my problems and I found that 11 of my 23 problems were actually solved, which, good job. But still, many of my problems remain unsolved, and I'm hoping that maybe here some student or researcher takes the opportunity to solve them.
That sounds fascinating, Mr. Hilbert. Could you please explain me why your work is relevant and important in today's world, and how does it continue to advance our understanding?
The importance of my work lies in its attempt at establishing a secure foundation for all of mathematics. Even though Gödel and its incompleteness theorem may have posed some challenges to my original program, the idea of consistency and a complete mathematical system still influences many areas of general work like computer science and logic. I did some research on Habib University as well, and there's a course, Discrete Mathematics, that many second-year students study. In there, many of my favorite paradoxes like the Hilbert's grand hotel and even Cantor's diagonalization argument has been taught, which just tells you how important my work is to the area of computer science and logic and even mathematics itself.
Oh wow, that's pretty fascinating. Would you mind explaining what your grand hotel paradox is? You might as well use the board if you want to.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so the idea is that you just have a very big hotel and you are the manager of this hotel. You both are. And the unique thing about this hotel is that it has infinite rooms. It has 1, 2, 3, and then so on until infinity. And another unique thing about this hotel is that it also has infinite people living in this hotel. That means it's all booked. Infinite rooms, all booked. Let's say a new person comes in and he wants a space. So how will you cater to that person? Because it's all booked. Well, what you would do is, you have numbered all these rooms. Just tell the first person to go to the second, tell the second one to go to the third to go to the fourth, and so on and so forth, until room 1 is free and that person can go to room 1. So even though it was all booked, you still catered to that person. And what's even more fascinating about this paradox is you can have a bus show up with infinite number of people, and you can still cater to them by a mapping. And that mapping essentially would be that all the even ones, 2, 4, 6, 8, just tell them to move to the next even room. And then if by this going on to infinity, all the people in this room can take all the even numbers. And such infinity plus infinity will still equate to infinity. Mind you, I'm talking about countable infinities.
So thank you so much for the demonstration, Mr. Hilbert. So you mentioned Goodell in your last answer. Some aspects of your work were deeply criticized by his incompleteness theorems. How would you react and how would you respond to those in today, looking at the current development of maths and computer science?
Yes, Goodell's incompleteness theorem did show that many of my achievable goals that I thought were achievable did prove to be inconsistent. My goal and my dream of a complete formal system of mathematics could not be achieved. And yes, I will say that Goodell's incompleteness theorem was really well thought out and well spoken as well in the conference, but his self-praise was really crazy. I believe that his work made us understood the limitations of a complete theorem, and that only pushed us and pushed me and my whole Hilbert's program professors to achieve more and think, okay, a math system cannot be complete, but how can we take this incomplete system and still make something really unique and really philosophical?
How do you think your contributions has influenced mathematicians and scientists of this generation?
I know that my work has influenced so many generations and so many professors and scientists as well. I'm actually really happy about that. There's this guy, Alan Turing, and I saw, as I was resurrected back, I saw his Turing machine and how he used my question, my third question, that is math deterministic, and he took that and just made computers and the foundation of computers and phones and everything that you're saying, this laptop here, it's because it rooted from my work, and I am really happy about that. I'm really I actually did something. And now the new trend in mathematics and CS, which I've been seeing a lot, is computational complexity theory, which is basically solving this problem of P versus NP, which is saying that there is a problem and it's a really hard problem. Can you solve it in a really short amount of time? Can computers solve it in really short amount of time? And if this gets proved, it means the whole world will change, which again, it kind of roots from my own work. So yeah.
Oh, that's a wonderful perspective on your lasting impact. So it was a pleasure getting to know you better and hearing about how exactly your skills align with what we're looking for. And regarding the next steps, you will probably hear back from us in a week or two. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us.
Thank you once again. It was great to have you here today. We really appreciate your interest for applying for this position.
Oh, he seemed like a really good fit for the position. What do you think?
Yeah, you're right. But I think before making a final decision, let's have a quick peer review session with Mr. Allen Turing. Unfortunately, due to his last minute commitments, he would not be coming in today, but he is willing to join us on call. So, shall we start the call then?
I'm sure let's do it right now.
Hello, Mr. Turing. It's an honor to have you with us today. We would love to hear your thoughts on the work of Mr. Hilbert. How do you see his contributions influencing mathematics and beyond?
Thank you for the kind introduction, and I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to speak about Professor Hilbert. His work is monumental, especially his formalist approach, which sought to place mathematics on solid, logical foundations. Much of my own work, especially my development of the Turing machine, has roots in the very ideas Hilbert proposed. You see, Hilbert was deeply concerned with the foundations of logic and mathematics. These concerns inevitably led to questions about what could be solved through formal, mechanical procedures. My work was an extension of this, trying to address the limits of computation and what can and cannot be decided by a machine. Hilbert's contributions laid the groundwork for much of theoretical computer science as we know it today.
Fascinating. But of course, Hilbert's dream of a complete and consistent system faced challenges. What would you say about the consistency of mathematics in light of your own work, particularly on computational limits?
Yes, that's where things become truly interesting. Hilbert's program sought a complete and consistent system of mathematics, but Kurt Gödel showed that such a system is, in fact, impossible. His incompleteness theorems prove that there will always be true mathematical statements that cannot be proven within any given formal system. My work on computability followed closely from Gödel's discoveries. While Gödel demonstrated the limitations of formal systems in mathematics, I focused on what this meant for computation. By result, the famous Turing machine showed that not all mathematical problems can be solved by mechanical processes. We now know there are limits to what a machine, no matter how powerful, can compute. This brings us to questions like the famous P versus NP problem, which explores the boundaries of efficiently solvable problems. It's a question that touches the very heart of what computation is capable of. If we could solve it, we might unlock untold potential in areas like cryptography, optimization, and more. Yet, like Hilbert's original quest, it may remain an elusive goal.
So, despite the setbacks in Hilbert's program, do you think he would have appreciated the directions that both your work and Gödel's have taken?
Absolutely. I believe Hilbert would have understood and even admired these developments. Though his dream of a complete system was unattainable, his pursuit of rigor and structure gave birth to the ideas that led to breakthroughs in logic, mathematics, and computation. His legacy is intertwined with the very essence of modern theoretical computer science. It is through his framework that we've come to understand not just the power of formal systems, but also their limits. Lastly, I would like to show you this 50-pound note, which is a testament to my work, which would not have been possible without the foundations laid by Mr. Hilbert.
Thank you so much, Mr. Turing, for your insights. We hope to talk to you soon. Hello, Mr. Hilbert. We're happy to see you again. So we wanted to take out a moment to acknowledge your contributions. During our peer review with Mr. Alan Turing, he spoke very highly of your influence on his work. Such an endorsement is a testament to your lasting impact.
After careful consideration, we are so excited to offer you the position of Program Director for ISM at Hamilton University. We are so happy to have you on board. This is your offer letter. So if you could kindly do your signatures here.
Thank you so much for selecting me for this position. I'll just sign this. Let's say I'm the interviewer. Alright.
Oh, that's a wonderful. What's wrong with me? What's a wonderful perspective?
दोपहर में जाएगा ये ठीक है क्या
अच्छा.
क्या था? Interdisciplinary.
Inter plus
I cannot say that right.
Interdisciplinary.
interdisciplinary.
बोलो तो.
Interdisciplinary.
2,000 years later.
Interdisciplinary.
Hey guys, we're just having a little break after so much work.
We haven't even started yet.